different forms of eating disorders in anorexia nervosa.
Yes, anorexia is a well-known one. Yeah.
Yes, and bulimia.
Bulimia, yes.
What are the differences there?
Yes, so anorexia is basically where your relationship with food is such that you try and stay away from food. You actually eat very, very little or close to starvation, where you lose 15% of your body weight in quite a rapid period of time, and you often then present with the medical complications of that, with a suppressed immune system, malnutrition, GIT, gastrointestinal tract disorders, and then obviously with that then the psychological distress of not eating. Because not eating affects your concentration, it affects your ability to learn, to perform, to do exercise and so forth. So they're often associated learned behaviors then that would come on board with anorexia in keeping you really, really skinny and thin on the outside. And because you want to stay away from food, you then obsess with your personality type on something else, like exercise. So not only do you weigh and count every single calorie you weigh, the size of the bite you're taking even becomes important. You'll find obviously cutting up the food into small, tiny pieces. But then you also see with that then the associated behaviors of suddenly having a drastic change in focusing on exercising, for example, from half an hour a day to almost 4 hours a day. So you know that's where it all plays a massive role.
And bulimia specifically?
So bulimia is more type of a binge eating, where you consume food and then induce purging, simply put, vomiting. Where you then you're so disgusted with yourself, you initially satisfy the void that you're trying to fill by eating a lot, and then you try to rid that because of the guilt and because of the process. So there are different kinds of clinical signs and symptoms that we see when we see the warning signs of bulimia as well.
All right. Well, we're going to continue this conversation as we open up this conversation during the month of July, which is Mental Health Awareness Month. And today we're focusing on the mental health issues associated with eating disorders more specifically. Do engage with us on social media and let us know your thoughts.
Clover Fresh Milk is the #1 milk brand in SA, made with love by Clover.
First of all, welcome back, Teresa. I absolutely love when you're here because we always do things that are really awesome, and like comfort food is your vibe, is your lane. Something really delicious, maybe at this time of the year, like an all-beef stew kind of goes down well. In fact, with so many delicious winter veggies, you can also put a spin on that, make something a little bit different for your family, like these Clover Classic Fat Spread Curried Butternut rotis, however you say it, they are amazing. So we're going to create a beautiful relationship with food here. That's what it's all about. And Teresa has helped me on my food journey with understanding food. And I know we completely generalize, and every person's relationship with food is completely different. So please, what we are talking about doesn't necessarily have to apply to you, and we are not belittling what anyone goes through on a daily basis. I've had my own struggles with nutrition on the way that I kind of see food and living healthy, and I'd kind of gotten to the point where I didn't think that you could enjoy food and eat healthily at the same time, but that has changed dramatically, and this gives us a way of taking something that is incredibly healthy and just turning it into something that, yes, it's nutritious, it's healthy, it's wholesome, it's ultimately great comfort food that you don't have to be completely guilty about.
Exactly, it promotes that healthy relationship with food, and we really should all be trying to work towards that.
I love it, and my mouth is watering, and I'm loving the fact that we're kind of pushing the boat out a little bit with something that's delicious but quite easy to make.
Absolutely.
So what are we making, and how does it all come together?
Right, so we're going to be making our rotis from scratch, just 4 ingredients. Super easy, and then we'll be cooking those and then making a curried butternut filling.
Love that. So meat-free, it's not a Monday, but we can go, and that's something I do struggle with. So creating delicious meat-free dishes is something that's really important for me. I've got to kind of recondition my own sense of that. Okay, so let's get cracking.
Okay, so we've got some flour in the bowl. We're going to add some salt.
Okay.
I'm going to add the Clover Classic Fat Spread, so about 2 tablespoons.
And I mean, you're going to get a lovely kind of a buttery texture with your roti. You want that. It's got to be kind of part crackly, but it's got to have the right kind of texture. I mean, these look spectacular.
You want them to be quite soft. I think that's the main thing. So add your water in. And a lot of people like to use warm water because that apparently makes the roti softer.
Oh, really? Okay.
So a little tip there.
That's one little hack.
So mix it together. And then what you want to do is, once it starts coming together, is actually get in there with your hands and start kneading it.
Start working it through, cool. Which we're not going to do.
That's all coming together. We do have a ready-made one. So
gorgeous. So the keyword here is Clover to 33728 if you'd like us to send this beautiful, quite spicy ingredients list directly to you. Okay.
So use some flour to dust your work surface. And now we've
with
let
this
this
sort
rest.
Yeah, I was going to ask,
Yeah.
how long does it need to prove when creating something like this? Because obviously it's not a bread that you're looking to rise or whatever, but you still need
No.
it.
About 10 to 15 minutes will
Okay,
do the
I
trick,
see, I
just to
see.
let the gluten relax, and it's also going to give you a softer roti. And then you want to try and get a circle as best you can. And the way I do that is just to move the dough while
Just
I'm
keep
rolling
flipping
it
it around, rotating it.
and
Cool.
doing it from different angles. Let's add a bit more flour. And you want to aim for the thickness of a pancake, more or less.
Okay.
So rather go
love
thinner
that.
than thicker,
Okay.
but not too thin.
A little goes a long way. You know, this is something, because it's slightly healthier, you can do it every day. And what I love about the Clover Classic Fat Spread, an ideal everyday spread with a touch of Clover cream as well, great source of 10 vitamins. So it's all about getting as much nutrition in as well. Spread it, bake it, cook it, whatever your family's needs are. You can use it in a number of different ways. Great taste as well, great to spread. But when you're using it as an additive for cooking, I think that's where it really comes to bear for me. And you'll see in the end result with these little rotis, quite spectacular. Just a tip though, keep it refrigerated and store it in an odor-free environment, because it will pick up odors if you're going to keep it next to the onion. Don't do that, just don't do it. And because it's so fresh, obviously you need to use it. Once you've opened it, use it within 30 days, but hopefully that's logic.
There we go. So I've rolled that
Nice.
out. Okay, so I'm going to pop it into our hot pan over here.
Yay.
Go. So we'll let that cook.
How hot should the pan be? How long does it need to?
You want to have it quite hot, and you're going to wait for the bubbles on top of the roti, and then you can flip it over, cook it through. You can flip it a couple of times, but you do want it to puff up.
Kind of, you need, because you're going to know that texture, and you kind of need it to have some crispy bits, but you need it to have a soft, wonderful texture as well. So
Yeah.
it's having a balance of those two things.
You can
It
see
also
it's
needs to
brown in
look
there.
awesome, and that's already starting to get that. That's like
can
a proper
see the
roti.
little-
We made a roti. Ah, that is so awesome.
There
That
we
is
go.
really, really, really cool.
So I'm going to start on the filling in the
Cool.
meantime. So I'm going to pop some more of the fat spread into the pan. Over there. Okay.
Oh, this is, I think, a great way to think about your curries. It doesn't always have to be a heavy, protein-driven curry.
No, not at
because
all.
you've got such beautiful, strong flavors. You can also, take it in the root of the vegetable, lentils. Obviously, butternut is a beautiful substitute
That's it.
for meat.
Right, so we've got the onion in there, some garlic, some fresh chili, and then we're going to add some garam masala and some cinnamon and bay leaves. So lots of spice.
And I'm glad you're adding the cinnamon as well, because I think the cinnamon, kind of the cinnamon sweet combo with the butternut or pumpkin is it's
so
It's a
delicious.
classic combination.
So let that cook for a couple of minutes, and then you're going to add your butternut and a bit of brown sugar. This is going to offset the sharpness of the tomato,
Tomato, okay.
which we're going to add as well. And we're also going to add some clover cream, which is also great for flavor and richness.
Just make it
There we
delicious. So we're going to let
go.
this guy simmer off, and then we will return to put the finishing touches on our beautiful butternut curry and our homemade rotis, which I'm so
Whoa,
excited about.
yum.
But let's go through a little play-by-play on how we arrive at the beautiful end result that your family is going to love. That's so cool.
Make something a little different for your family tonight, like these delicious, flavorful and filling curried butternut rotis from Clover. Easy to prepare and filled with goodness, this is a dinner that won't disappoint. Add 2 tablespoons of softened Clover Classic Fat Spread to 250 grams of cake flour. Add a teaspoon of salt and 180 ml of water. Then combine to make a dough and set aside for 15 minutes. In the meantime, melt 1 tablespoon of Clover Classic Fat Spread in a large pan. Then add 1 chopped onion, 2 cinnamon sticks, 2 bay leaves, 2 tablespoons of garam masala, and 2 crushed garlic cloves. Sauté until fragrant. Then add 1 kilogram of cubed butternut and cook for 5 minutes. Next, add a tin of chopped tomatoes, 1 finely chopped green chili, and about a cup of Clover fresh cream. Once simmering, add a tablespoon of brown sugar, then leave to gently simmer for about 40 minutes. While the curry is cooking, divide the dough into 8 equal-sized balls. Then roll them out into thin circles for the rotis. Fry each roti in a greased frying pan until both sides puff up. Then serve with spoonfuls of butternut curry before rolling them up. Serve warm with loads of fresh coriander. Packed with flavor and warmth, these rotis are easy and cheap to make, so give it a go. You might just be onto a crowd pleaser.
Made with love by Clover.
I mean, just sitting here preparing this meal, I've gotten all nostalgic and we're talking about family and homes and where we want to cook and how we want to live. It's all about building a healthy relationship with food and doing something that's delicious, hearty, nutritious, but also is healthy and lovely. And the keyword here is Clover to 33728. Just SMS that and we'll send you an ingredient. So how do we wrap it all
So
up?
roti's done.
Looks
Our
amazing.
butternut, you want to let that simmer for about 40 minutes until the butternut is cooked through. And then you're going to wrap it in your roti and enjoy it. And what you can also do, is just to spread some of the Clover Classic onto your roti once it's done to make it even softer.
Yeah, and just give it a bit of a sheen here. And what we did here, Nicole, our kitchen fairy, was absolutely amazing. The most awesome hack is when it's still kind of soft, you take it out of the pan, you put it in a dishcloth and crunch it up in the shape that you want, and you get this beautiful effect. Teresa, you're a genius. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
I am going to go and spread some of the love with my team. I'm a nice guy.
Enjoy.
I'm such a nice guy. Man.
Clover Fresh Milk is the #1 milk brand in SA. Made with love by Clover.
Whoa, that looks so yum. That curried butternut roti. So ideal for this weather that we're stepping into. But of course, we know that this month of July, there's a big focus on mental health awareness. And today, specifically, we look at eating disorders. We've got Dr. Darren Green in the house. We've asked you to ask him any questions on social media. Expresso Morning Show, SABC3 on our Facebook. Have you got questions? and
Exactly.
comments?
Well, we did put up this post. Good morning, fam. Food can bring joy to some and anxiety to others. What is your relationship with food and why? Just got to say, don't really know why we use that photo of me, but all good. Moving along swiftly. Sharon says, morning, guys. Nice, warm food does my soul good, especially when it's cold. Jackie says, food is love, as it brings me happiness and it brings me peace. Teboho says, I really love your show and food. Thank you so much, Teboho.
Yeah.
And let's see, Cheryl says, a subject close to my heart, love the dark. And then Bonging Kosi says, food brings joy to me, but I prefer both healthy and sweet because I kind of have a sweet tooth. Very, very good. And then Chetty says, good morning, beautiful team. Food is a blessing to our bodies. It should be healthy and eaten in a proper way. After all, we eat to live and not live to eat.
In a proper way. But it goes to show we all really do have a relationship with food.
Exactly.
And it can be good or it can be bad.
Exactly.
Graham, you got some good? Some good?
Wow.
See, you saw my food and you lost your mind there for a second, guys.
man.
Roti, however you say it, it's
Yeah.
delicious with a butternut curry. It is amazing. It's meat-free, it's healthy, it's delicious, made with our Clover fett spread. It's got all that deliciousness. Break
I'm
a little
just
piece and
gonna
get in there,
taste while
man.
you
You had
Get
me
in
at
there,
roti.
buddy.
Thank you.
Get in there, please. Actually,
Nice.
I'm having a little taste.
Big or small, we've got it all. Everyone will find something at the Crazy Store. It's no wonder South Africa considers the Crazy Store the crazy fun place to shop.
Science reaches for the truth. It works for the big and small, for the old and young. And with knowledge as our first ingredient, science is at the heart of our food. For differences you can see, feel, and trust. It all starts with science.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
It's Tuesday morning. Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show Expresso on SABC3. Thanks so much for joining us. So good to be in your company.
So good. Lots on the go this morning. It's a feel-good extravaganza. Dr. Darren Green is still in the house unpacking our relationship with food as we focus on eating disorders. So do make sure to get your questions through to him on Facebook, Expresso Morning Show, SABC3. Right now, though, it's time for the news with Leanne.
In the national news this morning, Gauteng Premier David Makura has reiterated his stance on e-tolls, saying he wants to do away with the unwanted system and is willing to contribute money from provincial government to help end it. A public participation process to rename a historical street in Cape Town will kick off this July. This follows a proposal by the District 6 Working Committee to name Kaisergracht to its historical name of Hanover Street on Heritage Day. On the international front, the number of Ebola outbreak cases is increasing on a daily basis in the Democratic Republic of Congo's affected zones. More than 2,000 people have been infected by the epidemic that has been described as one of the worst, and 140,000 plus people have been vaccinated. 5 whaling ships set sail for Kushiru in Japan yesterday for the country's first commercial hunt since 1986. This in defiance of international criticism. Japan has also withdrawn from the International Whaling Commission, which banned hunting. And then finally, Bilbo, as the SPCA has named him, stayed with his homeless owners, or by his homeless owners' side in Cape Town for 2 entire days, while his owner lay ill awaiting help. Thankfully, his owner was eventually taken to a hospital for treatment, but Bilbo was left behind and the SPCA was summoned. They tried to find his owner, but sadly the trail ran cold and they haven't been able to reunite Bilbo with the owner he so dearly loved. Now the SPCA needs your help to find Bilbo his forever home where he can enjoy the love and loyalty that he gave so unconditionally. So will you kindly contact Adoptions on 021 400 4152 to arrange a meet and greet to apply for Bilbo. Well, that was your 7:30 news headlines. Here's another look at what's happening in the world of sport with Graham.
In our Monday Cricket World Cup action yesterday, we saw Sri Lanka claim a 23-run win over the West Indies at the Riverside ground in Chesterley Street. Both teams unable to progress now after this point. Then on the footballing front, Morocco have progressed. They've qualified for the African Cup of Nations knockout stages. It was after securing a 1-0 win over Bafana in their final Group D fixture at the Al Salam Stadium in Egypt last night. Bafana still with a slim chance of progressing as the best of the rest. On the tennis front, we can be proud of South African tennis star Kevin Anderson. He cruised into the Wimbledon second round. That was after beating Frenchman Pierre Hughes-Herbert 6-3, 6-4, 6-2. And of course, throwing forward to today's Cricket World Cup action, quite a big one for Bangladesh as they face off against the wounded beast that is India, of course, losing to England. First loss of the tournament, 11:30. That match kicks off in Birmingham. We'll expand on those headlines on the top of the hour.
Thanks so much, Graham. Let's take another look at your roads. But first of all, a petrol price update. The price of petrol is set to decrease by 95 cents per litre, costing you 15 Rand 81 cents per litre. And diesel is set to decrease by 75 cents per litre, costing you 14 Rand 46 cents per litre. Now, this is due to a massive drop in in international oil prices. So they've dropped, and it's amazing. We're all celebrating. Off to the roads now, starting off in Gauteng, out in Fairland. There has been an accident on the N1 northbound before Malibongwe Drive. The emergency lane is obstructed, so please approach with caution. And if you're in the Western Cape and Athlone, on the N2 inbound, there is congestion. That's between Robert Sobukwe Road and Jan Smuts Avenue. And the average traveling speed over there is 10 kilometers per hour with delays up to 30 minutes. Off to the train lines, all inbound and outbound Captain's Clip trains terminate at Philippi until further notice. Commuters are advised to make use of an alternative mode of transport between Philippi and Captain's Clip in both directions. And that's where we leave it for now.
Don't fear the flu. Boost your immune system with Effaflu C Immune Booster by Pharmadynamics. effective, affordable healthcare.
And now we take a look at your weather across the country. But first, we take a look at a beautiful sunrise picture that you have sent through. Our regular photographer, Gary Okamp, woke up early this morning to send us this spectacular sunrise picture from the Karoo. Gary, you can expect partly sunny conditions with chilly temperatures today, reaching a low of 10 degrees and reaching that max, rather, of 10 degrees. Let's take a look at your temperatures across the country, starting off in Polokwane with a low of 3, reaching a maximum of 21. Mbombela coming through with the highest temperatures in the country today, low of 5, reaching a high of 24. Pretoria 2 and 17. If you're in Johannesburg, 0 your low and your high 14. Mahikeng 1 and 19. Klerksdorp, a cold start to the morning today, -2 as your minimum and your maximum 14. Kimberley with high humidity today, 0 and 14. Bloemfontein, lowest temperatures in the country today, -4 is your low and your high is 14. Richards Bay 10 and 23. Pietermaritzburg 6, your low and your high 20. Durban, clear skies all round for 13, your low and your high 22. If you're out in Mthatha today, your low is 7 and your high 21. East London 14, reaching a max of 22. Craddock 2 and 19. If you're out in Port Elizabeth today, 13 and 20 is your high. George 13, reaching a max of 20. Sutherland with northwesterly winds traveling at 22 kilometers per hour today, low of 2 and a high of 10. Cape Town, the mother city, 13 is your low today and a high of 14. Of course, expect some rain there today with northwesterly winds at 35 kilometers per hour. Worcester 9, reaching a high of 13. Springbok with high humidity, 5, your low and your high 15. And lastly, Uppington 2 is where you start off today, reaching that max of 17 degrees today. It's going to be a beautiful day across the country. Make the most of it. And remember to send us those beautiful sunrise pictures on our Facebook page, Expresso Morning Show, SABC3.
I was just imagining myself on that island, an island somewhere in the Caribbean. Hashtag TIOT9. Tropica Island of Treasure is here. And we have been teasing you. I think I'm going to go with a little bit of orange this morning. We've been teasing you with some clues as to where this particular island is, which island in the Caribbean it's going to be. The Tropica Island of Treasure is back. And yesterday, we revealed the clue that the island is situated, of course, in the Caribbean. But where? So we've got 2 clues walking in with today. Our host with the most.
I bring in some friends.
Would you fancy a sip?
Yes, thank you very much.
I know you probably end up drinking a lot of this by the end of a season, but
keep you refreshed, man. Keep you smooth. But listen, I brought in some friends because today's clue actually lies in the wildlife of the particular island that we are visiting. So let's tell you about the island a bit more specifically. Now, the island has one of the greatest diversities of wildlife in the Caribbean. It's rich with rare and endemic plants and animals. In fact, the pink flamingos can be found on this island.
Look, there it is.
There we go. That's one of them. Now, they're found in salt ponds called salinas, and here they eat brine shrimp.
Say it again.
Salinas.
Is that the kind of accent that people talk with on the island?
Possibly. But brine shrimp is among their favorite food. And in fact,
yummy.
The keratin in these shrimps gives their feathers their famous pink color.
Oh, wow.
Exactly. You also find whiptail lizards known as iguanas that are endemic to the island and can be found basking in the sun among almost wherever you step. And they're very big because they grow between like 1.5 to 1.8 meters. These iguanas, large
You're
reptiles.
going to come up close. Now watch as the celebrity
I'm definitely going to do that.
Pees his pants as he comes face to face with a whiptail lizard. That's going to be intense, man.
Yeah. Also, outside the main town of this delightful island, there's a rugged coastline with some 38 small bays with the soft sand beaches there. And there you'll find small little pigs roaming, maybe even big ones, roaming on the beaches, sometimes taking a dip in the ocean. In fact, snorkeling with turtles is also one of the main attractions of the island.
Wild pigs?
Yeah. They're swimming with you. And turtles. Snorkeling.
I still have no idea, but I'm
Really?
getting so excited
Come on,
about
think
it.
about it.
Now, I've got an idea, man. We've all seen the movies, we've all seen the things. That is so awesome. How excited are you getting now just talking about the location?
Super excited, dude. I cannot wait.
My
I
little
cannot
heart is
wait.
going, man.
Be part of it.
So can you name the island in the Caribbean that will be home to Tropica Island of Treasure Season 9. So you've got to go on to @mytropica on social media pages and take a guess and use that hashtag TIOT9. You could stand a chance of winning fame and fortune, so don't miss out on the opportunity with the entries opening soon in August.
Yeah, we need you to come on board. It's going to be so smooth.
Cheers, dude.
Thank you very much.
Cheers to you, man. Bon voyage.
I'm actually quite impressed it's cold.
Get to a crazy store in your town this school holiday and discover a treasure trove of arts and crafts for the whole family to enjoy, as always, at great value. Paper, paints, modeling clay, sketchbooks, glitter, crayons, aprons, rubber stamps, ribbons, felt tip pens, learn to paint sets, and a whole universe of creative fun at crazy good value. Only at the Crazy Store. Holidaying near or far, there'll be one just about wherever you are.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You're live with Expresso as we hone in on a vitally important conversation. All this month we are dealing with mental issues, as this is Mental Health Awareness Month. And of course we've got an incredible brain to lean on, but a guy who I think certainly feels the emotion behind something like this. It's always a very difficult space when the mind and emotion, where body and heart kind of meet. And of course the repercussions of some of the disorders that we've already broached on, anorexia, bulimia, really, really intense. So it's so important that all of us educate ourselves.
No, absolutely.
I want to talk about anorexia
Yes.
and bulimia. Of course, those are, I always call food the acceptable addiction, and staying away from food as well. It's an addiction as well. Let's talk about the psychological basis for these kind of eating disorders.
Yeah, so often there's an accompanying trigger that's led people to the relationship or how they define their relationship with food. There could be trauma in their past, there could be anxiety, and then obviously soothing by eating, and then there could be depression as well, where you're trying to fill a void in that state. So understanding that, combined with certain personality types that are more prone to developing eating disorders, things like OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, for example, where you start obsessing on a specific part of your body that you don't like, your body image, body dysmorphia, all those things, then lead to you becoming psychologically distressed because you're unhappy with something in your physical self. And then that then spills over into the behaviors that affect then your attempt to change what you dislike and what's causing that psychological
What are the first signs from a carer, from a parent, from someone, a partner? What should be that? Because we're all conscious. This is a fashion disease.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, it's something that's almost promoted in mass media. I would imagine social media doesn't help.
100%.
When should we become nervous when when watching your weight becomes a disorder?
So I think when someone's conversation is dominated by conversations around food, the relationship with food, the role of food, the perception of food. If someone could have a normal conversation with you and now suddenly there's such a dramatic shift and change
And
in
all
that
the time,
focus
not
and
just
intensity.
they're not just on diet, but it's like that all
It's
the time. yeah.
absolutely obsessed, and literature and learning, etc. about it. That is the first thing. So look at the conversation topics that have now occurred and what the frequency and intensity of those conversations. Then look at the behavior around food. Look at the communication that comes back. I ate at my friend's place. I've eaten enough at school, or I ate something on the way home, and so forth. How you start then distancing yourself from group eating or family gatherings in terms of food. And then even within those, if you have really vigilant parents within that system, you start then learning compensatory behaviors even while you're in the group of cutting up your food, delaying, talking a lot so that everyone's focused on what you're saying, you're flamboyant, you're leading the conversation. So it's often very much brought about by a control issue. So we starve our bodies, for example, for control. We then either eat too much and then feel guilty about it and then have to do something about it, once again, showing control. So there's a lot of control in the psychodynamics, control issues around it as well.
I think we know the health complications with anorexia.
Yes.
But what are the health complications with bulimia?
Yeah, so the difference here is anorexia, you lose more than 15% of your body weight. Your BMI is so dramatically low, obviously, that you have almost 0% body fat left with obviously skin and bone. So with bulimia, what happens is you are eating, you actually do a lot of binge eating in bulimia, but then the guilt comes in, and you can purge from 1 to 46 times a week. Purging implicates vomiting, obviously, as well. Also, to get rid of those perceived calorie intakes, people then take laxatives, they take diuretics, which cause you to urinate, obviously, as well, to lose water mass. And all those carry with it, obviously, massive health implications for hydration, electrolyte imbalance, kidney issues, etc. And then your immunity, malnourishment, obviously, affects all the systems in the body. And from consistently vomiting and bulimia, you can imagine with the acid
damage
reflux,
that you're doing,
gum disease, teeth, the enamel gets destroyed. Often there's a telltale on the finger from inducing vomiting with your finger. So you'll see skin that's flaked and obviously red, inflamed on the index finger or any other finger.
It's acid. It's acids that come out. Is
correct.
So much of this is understandable just purely from a situational kind of space and knowing the pressures that are on, especially, I think, young girls would see, but it's not necessarily just something that's experienced by young women. But is there a biological basis? Are some people more predisposed to eating disorders than others?
So the whole chicken-egg theory. So you have, for example, the eating disorder that can cause changes in the nerve transmitter levels in the brain and the different relationship between serotonin, dopamine, etc., glutamine, and that then can affect the mood disorders that are associated and follow up. On the other side, you have people that have an underlying obsessive compulsive disorder or anxiety, which leads them to seek a crutch in something like kind of a controlled environment of controlling your food.
Kind of channel for
so
that.
there's almost this two-way seesaw ride that could happen from both sides. So yes, certainly, there are associated neuropsychological and psychiatric complications involved from both of these conditions.
Sure. I want to jump into the treatments for both anorexia and bulimia. So we're going to catch up with you again after this. Thank you so much, Dr. Darren Green. We are talking about food, our relationship with food. We are talking about mental health awareness. It's something we should be talking about throughout the year, but it is something that is dedicated to the month of July. And of course, when it comes to eating as well.
All right, here we are, yes, with Ryle, as promised earlier on that we were going to be tapping into his wisdom and knowledge of exercise and how to use the time that you have in the morning very, very quickly to get your body kick-started, especially if you're going to be planning your meals around, what kind of snacks you're going to be having in order to give you enough fuel that you're going to be using to exercise. But right now, you said we're going to do an AMRAP.
Yeah, exactly. It's called an AMRAP, Kat, so it's as many rounds as possible. And I always believe in supersetting, so it's getting the best bang for your buck out of your workout.
Yeah,
so
time-wise as well, it saves on time.
Exactly. In today's day and age, you want to maximize on our time. So without a lot of time, we're going to demo 3 different workouts or exercises, which will superset into an AMRAP. Okay, so the first one is as follows. We're going to be on one leg, keeping our core nice and tight, and this is going to work on our balance and stability. Our opposite leg is going to be just above our knee, and we're going to squat down, okay? So you stick the bum back and you keep your lower back nice and tight, and we go down for one. Feel that stretch, a nice eccentric load in the glute, and you stay back up. So you got that balance working with you there. Let's go down for one more little version. That's it, perfect stuff, my man. Beautiful,
Okay,
right?
yeah.
So you're working the glutes nicely there, stability and core. Okay, next one's gonna be a push-up variation, okay? So on the ground, you're gonna have your back nice and straight. If you can't do a push-up, you can vary it and go from your knees.
Okay.
But you're a big man, so we can do this. So we're going to one push-up.
Yeah.
We go straight back up, and then we tilt to the side, lifting our hand up. And just because you made me eat that rush this morning, we've got extra energy. We're gonna lower our waist down and back up again.
Do you touch all the way down?
Yep, and then all the way back to the ground for a push-up.
Okay.
And then we push up again,
Boom.
and then to the other side. We lean, put the hips down, back up, hitting the core, and then back into a push-up. There we go, that's the second
that's the second
exercise.
exercise.
And then the third one, to finish it off, is a nice core exercise. So you're gonna be on your back, nice and simple, staying at 90 degrees with the legs, and we're literally just gonna get our elbow to hit the opposite knee. So it's bicycles, right? So we're extending down, all right? Let's go for 1, 2, 3, that's perfect. Rather nice core workout there, and we're also getting the lower half of the abs and the hip flexors. So we're gonna hit a little AMRAP version.
Okay,
Are you
cool.
ready?
So how would it work now? So how many reps are we doing?
We're gonna do 10 reps of each, but for the sake of time, we'll just do 5 to show an example. And the AMRAP means that you guys have to do exactly 4 minutes of this consecutively, as many rounds as possible. All right? You ready? Okay,
All right,
so
here
we're
we
gonna go
go.
5 reps each. All right, let's go. Let's go. 1, 2, keep your balance.
Hey.
3.
That's the secret.
Nice. 4, whoop, and 5. All right, we would switch to the other leg, but let's go to the push-up straight away. Okay, let's go. Down, twist to the side, lower, and up. Let's go back down, twist to the side, lower, and back up. Let's go for 2 more, cat. You're looking way too strong, man. Way too strong, brother. 1 more, and then push up, and then let's just finish off with that ab work. Abs are made in winter. All right, so back up, and let's go. 5 reps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go, man.
We actually still have a minute left. So let's go another round. Let's see
Okay, let's go,
we can do.
let's go.
5 on
Let's
the
do
one, 5 on the
now,
other.
other leg. Ooh, but this one. All right, let's go.
Okay.
1,
40 seconds to go.
let's go. 2. So this is gonna hit that full body complex, gets the blood flowing, it burns fat perfectly, works those stabilizers, core control, and the full body complex. All right, let's
Here
go
we
into the
go.
push-up. Let's do 2 push-ups. 1, 2. All right, speed it up. Nice. 1, 2. Nice stuff. 2. Let's go for 1 more on the other side. 1, 2. All right, finish off with that core workout. I think I'm gonna need another Raskol for this, man.
Oh, yeah, me too. There we go. 7, 8, 5.
Woo!
And
Lovely,
that is
man.
about it. Good work, buddy.
Beautiful stuff, man.
Okay, whew. All right, try that out at home. 4 minutes is all you need. AMRAP, as many rounds as possible. Focus on the form, obviously that's very important.
Form is key, and obviously you want to work it and make sure that you just keep moving, worst case scenario.
Excellent stuff. And let us know how it works out for you at home. Heart rates are certainly up right here.
Enjoy.
Good work.
Nice, brother.
Alrighty, well, now that we've all got our blood pumping this morning on this beautiful morning here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show, we've asked you this question on social media in light of the conversation we're having with Dr. Darren Green. Our relationship with food. Food can bring joy to others, but it can also bring anxiety to some people. And we've asked you to let us know what it means to you and what relationship you have with food is. Reka Depnaran Rain says, I love cooking. It brings my family together. Hanneli says, good morning. I love food. Mac and cheese, my absolute comfort food. Lunga Kakana says, food comforts me when I'm stressed, but show love through the food I prepare for my loved ones. Cheryl says, a subject close to my heart, love the doc. And of course, Gillian McKenzie coming through and saying, eat the food I love, healthy, good, appetizing food. Why don't you also join in the conversation and let us know on Facebook what food means to you in the relationship that you have with food and what that does for your psyche. Does it bring joy? Does it bring you anxiety? And how do you manage that when that happens? Let us know using that hashtag Expresso Show. We'll see you in a bit.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You're live with Expresso, sitting with Dr. Darren Green, talking about, in particular, eating disorders and Mental Illness Awareness Month. July is a big month for awareness. We love these platforms. It's one thing to raise awareness, to educate people. It's another thing to be able to speak directly to the person that is going through this. How do you get a person out of that bubble? We've been dealing primarily with anorexia and bulimia, very different, but kind of stemming from the same maybe obsession, maybe the same root essentially. But for me, the most important thing is to be able to speak to that person who's in that space, and we know families are affected by it. How do we start to treat an eating disorder in that mental space?
Yeah, I think once you know that someone has an eating disorder and you've spotted the signs, the symptoms that we've discussed already, I think the first thing is understanding that that person needs to come to terms with they have a problem. So the triggers that I mentioned earlier on could have been a traumatic event. It could be anxiety or depression. So part of the treatment of the root cause of this would be to treat the underlying
like
mood
you would
issue.
Any other mental disorder.
Get to that started the process in the first place. And that involves obviously medical treatment where you're looking at better energy levels, mood control issues and so forth. It also involves, very importantly, psychotherapy. So psychotherapy has different components to it, and one of the big ones in terms of looking at your relationship with food and understanding your thought processes around the role of food in your life, the control issues, the psychological distress associated with the entire thing, is CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy.
It's rewiring the brain.
Rewiring the brain and looking at specifically your perceptions, what caused them, understanding whether they are rational, good perceptions or not, how to change those perceptions, how to then modify your behavior according to adjusting those cognitions and thought processes going forward. That obviously combined with medication, obviously, and food counseling is massive, massive.
Inpatient, like any other addiction, we know that the food addiction is probably one of the most pervasive and one of the most difficult to deal with. Inpatient treatment, at what point do you get to that? Is that an option available? Because I know a lot of people are sitting there, when do you take that step? Because it's quite a scary thing, but it's a desperate situation.
It's something that I often speak about to my wife, who helps a lot with that kind of thing in terms of inpatient treatment. But, we look at things like, for example, the family just see someone becoming really, really tired, wasting away. Immunologically, they're more prone to opportunistic infections, frequent disease, etc., etc. And you often find that the concentration and mental sharpness also then starts going down. So when would someone go in? Well, you would measure, obviously, their body weight. Their BMIs are a good indication. The body fat percentages are a good indication. But even more so when they do blood tests with a diagnosis, the signs of malnutrition involving the liver, the protein content in the body, the fat content in the body, all that kind of thing, all plays a role. But I would say if it affects your daily living to a degree where you can't sustain a job, where it's affecting your performance at work, your performance as a member of the family in terms of being a parent, for example, as well, or even a sibling where you can't concentrate in the classroom because adolescents are the highest risk group, then that's when you need help, and that's when you need to go for help urgently.
Just very quickly, in about 20 seconds, how long does it take to recover, and what can they expect in that recovery process?
So when we look at remodeling the brain and your cognitions and perceptions around food, you're looking at a period of weeks to months. Often it takes 10 years for a bulimic to work through the process and get over it. So often you'd find the story typically of someone having it in their 13 to 18 year age group, and then 10 years later only really with intensive therapy really get through it.
But it is an opportunity to redefine yourself. You are not alone, and I think families, don't judge, don't make it about yourself. Become practical and look at ways that you can help a person, and that I think speaks to all mental disorders. All of us live on the spectrum in one way or another. To be completely honest, we all need to be able to help each other, but just take the self-judgment out of it. Do something about it. Now is the time to do it, and there are professionals out there to help you.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely love you.
In the national news this morning, Gauteng Premier David Makhura has reiterated his stance on e-tolls, saying he wishes to do away with the unwanted system and is willing to contribute money from provincial government to help end it. Makhura was addressing scores of people at the State of the Province address at the University of Johannesburg's Soweto campus yesterday. He said his government's anti-e-toll stance had not changed and added that the ANC is determined to ensure that e-tolls are not part of Gauteng's future. A public participation process to rename a historical street in Cape Town will kick off this July. This follows a proposal by the District 6 Working Committee to rename Kaisergracht to its historical name of Hanover Street on Heritage Day. The street was a commercial hub which connected residents and businesses from District 6 directly to the CBD. It was renamed Kaisergracht after the forced removal of thousands of people under the Group Areas Act from the area to the Cape Flats. Now moving further abroad, the number of Ebola outbreak cases is increasing on a daily basis in the Democratic Republic of Congo's affected zones. More than 2,000 people have been infected by the epidemic that has been described as one of the worst. Over 140,000 people have been vaccinated in the affected eastern DRC provinces of Ituri and North Kivu, the epicenter of the outbreak. Ebola spreads amongst humans through close contact with the blood, body fluids, secretions or organs of an infected person or objects contaminated by such fluids. 5 whaling ships set sail from Kushiru in Japan yesterday for the country's first commercial hunt since 1986. This in defiance of international criticism. Basically, the country has never really stopped whaling. It has been conducting what it says are research missions which catch up to 1,200 whales annually. But Japan has now withdrawn from the International Whaling Commission, which banned hunting. The catch quota up to the end of this year has been set at 227. Whales were brought to the brink of extinction by hunting in the 19th and early 20th century. And finally, technology that has dramatically reduced rhino poaching in the South African Game Reserve could be used to help other threatened species across the world. It uses a mixture of sensors, CCTV, biometrics and Wi-Fi to proactively detect poachers earlier. Now, the aim of the initiative is to track people instead of animals, collecting data on those who enter the perimeter and sending park rangers alerts when unusual activity is spotted. Researchers are also working towards a chip small enough to fit into a rhino horn, but capable of live transmission of the animal's exact location and core vitals. And computer engineers are testing the next generation of animal tracking chips and developing remote sensors that could one day monitor everything from a ranger's health to river levels, all to save and preserve our precious wildlife. Well, that was your 8 o'clock news update. Here's a final look at what's happening in the world of sport with Graham.
So let's round up our headlines this morning, kicking off with our Monday Cricket World Cup action from yesterday, and it saw Sri Lanka claim a 23-run win over the West Indies at the Riverside Ground in Chesterley Street. West Indies won the toss and sent Sri Lanka in to bat first. Dimuth Karunaratne's side put up a pretty dominant score of 338 runs in their allotted 50 overs, with eventual player of the match Avishka Fernando reaching 104 runs from just 103 deliveries. The West Indies, although losing a lot of early wickets, pushed it close 315. They were able to put it onto the board, but they ultimately suffered their 6th loss in the competition. And both teams now, sadly, have no way of qualifying for the semi-finals. In an equally frustrating night for Bafana. Morocco has qualified for the Africa Cup of Nations knockout stages after securing that 1-0 win over South Africa in their final Group D fixture at the Al Salam Stadium in Egypt last night. It was Mbarak Basoufa who netted from close range after a 90th minute free kick to secure the win for his team. So Morocco, they finished as group winners with Ivory Coast in second place, also advanced to the next round. Bafana, they finished third in the group and could still progress to the next round, or at least the round of 16, if other results go their way, and they ultimately are one of the best of the rest, so we can hold our thumbs. Then plenty to be proud of on the tennis front. South African tennis star Kevin Anderson has cruised to the Wimbledon second round. That was after beating Frenchman Pierre-Hugues Hubert 6-3, 6-4, 6-2. Anderson will now play Serbian Janko Tipsarevic tomorrow, and that's for a place in the last 32. Our defending Wimbledon champion and number 1 seed Novak Djokovic, he got his campaign off for a 5th title, believe it or not, off to a fantastic start. That was after beating German Philipp Kohlschreiber 6-3, 7-5, 6-3. While a massive shock on the women's draw, the number 2 seed Naomi Osaka crashed out of the competition in the opening round. And then, of course, throwing forward to today's grudge match in the Cricket World Cup, a big one. Bangladesh, the dark horse of the tournament, they face off against the wounded beast that is India. That happening at 11:30 in Birmingham. And that's a wrap of your sport for this morning.
Thank you very much, Graham. In case you missed it, the price of petrol is set to decrease by 95 cents per litre, costing you 15 rand 81 cents per litre. Diesel is set to decrease by 75 cents per litre, costing you now 14 rand 46 cents per litre. Now, this is due to a massive drop in international oil prices and all-round good news for South Africans. Let's take a look at the traffic right now, starting off in KwaZulu-Natal out in Sunningdale. There is congestion on the N2 southbound between the Umhlanga interchange and the KwaMashu interchange. The average travelling speed over there is 10 kilometers per hour. Delays are up to 20 minutes. And in the Western Cape, out in Paarl, on the N1 outbound, there is a stationary vehicle after the Huguenot Tunnel obstructing the emergency lane. So please do approach that with caution. And off to the train lines, there are overhead electrical problems between Netreg and Bonteheuvel impacting the Central Line train service. Captain's Clip and Chris Honey trains will terminate at Langa until further notice. So please do make use of an alternative mode of transport this morning. That's where we leave it for now. And now we take a look at your weather, but we've asked you to send in your beautiful sunrise pictures. Thank you so much, Madeleine, for your beautiful sunrise picture from Umhlanga, as well as Andre Potgieter for your orange skyline from Amanzintoti, and lastly, our regular photographer, Gary Orkamp, for waking up extra early this morning to send your spectacular sunrise from the Karoo. Absolutely beautiful work. And now we take a look at the temperatures across the country, starting off in Polokwane with a low of 3, reaching a high of 21. Mbombela has the highest temperatures in the country today. Your low is 5 and your high is 24 today. Pretoria, the capital city, 2, your low and your high is 17. Johannesburg, 0 and 14. Mahikeng, 1, reaching a high of 19. Klerksdorp will have a cold start to the morning today, -2, your low and your high is 14. Kimberley, high humidity today, 0 and a max of 14. Bloemfontein with the lowest temperatures in the country today, -4 is your low and your high is 14. Richards Bay, 10 and 23. Pietermaritzburg, your low is 6 and your high 20. Clear skies in Durban today, 13, your low and your high 22. Mthatha, 7, reaching a high of 21. If you're out in East London today, your minimum is 14 with a maximum of 22. Craddock, 2 and 19. PE today is 13, reaching a high of 20. If you're in George, 13 as your low and your high 20. Sutherland northwesterly winds traveling at 22 kilometers per hour, your low is 2 and your high 10. Cape Town, 13 and a max of 14. Some rain to be expected there today. Rain in Worcester as well, because your low is 9 and your high is 13. Springbok, 5 and 15 with high humidity. And lastly, Uppington, your low is 2 and you will reach that high of 17 today. And that's where we leave it for your weather today.
All right, we're joined in studio this morning by top billings Ryle Demoni, and earlier on he took us through an AMRAP exercise. You can of course check it out on our YouTube channel if you're looking to just use 4 minutes to get the most out of your workout. But then during the break we were also talking about the importance of getting your body moving and stretching and expanding those muscles. In as much as you concentrate on going to the gym to lift heavy weights to build the muscles, let them stretch, let them expand, allow your body to be as efficient as possible. So the next exercise routine is going to help us with that, right?
Exactly that, man. So we focus so much on concentration, on breaking the muscle down, but we need to also realize that comes at a cost. So we need to stretch, work on our mobility, and this is a perfect little routine that we're going to put together to work on mobility, get the core still working, but open up the hips, open up your diaphragm, get you breathing properly. And in this day and age, we're sitting on our desk and we're always getting so cramped up, and this is going to make us come alive again.
There we go. I like the sound of coming alive. Come on. All right, what's the first?
So it's a very complex movement. We're going to go through a sequence, and then we'll just carry the pattern through.
Okay, so we're going to memorize it as well.
The one leg up first to the side. Get the glute nice and stretched. Yeah, there we go. And then lift up straight in front of you again. Okay, then we're going to take that same leg and lunge forward, nice and controlled. Then take the inside elbow, place it down on the ground. It's going to open up the hips and the lower back as well. On the ground.
Oh my word,
feel
I'm
that
not
stretch.
even close to that.
Then you're going to lift that same arm back up, rotate that lower back and that core, and then bring it straight back down again. And then straight back up with the other hand. This is a tough one.
Oh, man.
Yep. Feel that, and then back down, and then we're going into a lunge. Nice and controlled. All right, you're standing. Okay, and now we're going to go into an inchworm, all right? So we'll step back, and then go down with our hands. Slowly crawl forward.
Yeah. Wow.
Salute. Stretching out that diaphragm and that core again. Go straight back. And then crawl those feet forward. Lovely, almost into a pike position until you come straight back up.
You feel every inch of muscle just kind of stretching in a way that you haven't stretched it in a while before.
Perfect.
Okay.
That's our movement over there. All right. And then if you want to finish it off, extra special movement, we go into a squat position. You put your one hand down the ground, you twist to the side. Beautiful stretch, opening up the entire body, and then up to the other side over here.
Dude, you do this so
feel
easily and you got big muscles. Like, I'm like skinny my lady here and I can't even do it properly.
It hurts, man, but we're going to get that dad bod back in shape for that island, so don't you worry, my man. So
What you trying to say, man?
All right, like, so we're going to try and string that together. It's a lot to take in, but let's try it on the other side, all right? So up to the side, and everybody can try this at home with us. You can join in. This is a beautiful exercise. As we said, we're getting the mobility, we're lunging forward, we're getting that range of motion. We're opening up our body.
My right hand is much better.
Yeah, oh, there we go. So now we want to work on our balance, obviously. You'll notice that certain sides of the body are more tight or looser than others. And then the other side,
This way around.
and then we come into our lunge. Nice and controlled, beautiful. Keep that core nice and tight.
Yeah,
Lovely
there we
stuff.
go.
All right, and then we can step backwards. Okay, and then we're going to go into our inchworm. Crawling forward. Beautiful stuff, Cat. Salute. There you go. Feel that full stretch. And at the same time, we are still stimulating our muscles.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
we are getting a workout. The endorphins are going to flow here. And we're going to benefit from the same mechanics that we would in an exercise. This is just a little bit more of a range of motion, all right? Beautiful stuff, man. You're leading the way, I see. Ready for that island.
Oh, this is so good. And
Right,
literally, as you're stretching you can feel your muscles kind of going, yes,
man.
please.
That's exactly it. And I'm sweating already, and it's a little bit more sweat than the workout before, surprisingly enough.
Absolutely,
So
Doug.
you guys should definitely try this one at home. It's epic. You can stack it with your workout, and it's something you can do after an intense day of training, or just if you were sitting on a desk whole day, all cramped up and tight behind the computer. This is going to open you up, and like we said, make you come alive.
Absolutely, man. I know you're doing great stuff on the acting scene as well. Check him out, follow him on social media.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Loud the morning, everybody. Come on, guys. Come on.
I've got to just say that workout was a bit entry level, but it is just what you need for the morning.
The funny thing is, and I've discovered that for me, overtraining is far less damaging than the sedentary lifestyle.
Sorry, I just happened to hear
The
something.
entry level. No, he's just setting himself up for the next training session.
I
Man.
was just saying, when I've trained with you, you usually go a lot more harder than what you've just done with Cat now.
shame.
That feels like entry level. That was a definite warm up, and I guess it makes sense because people can actually interact with it a bit from the comfort of their.
And with that, I'm going to hold you
their
to our
lounge.
next session. So you've promised all the people that you are on that mat next time.
I'm on
with
it.
me, right?
I am on it. I'm on it. It's a digital
space, man. I love it. No, I think
Cheers,
people.
guys.
Oh, we
Cheers,
love
Riley.
you, man. I think people forget that it's something physical can be a small victory when everything else is kind of piling in, and you feel like you just can't get a break. Just do something physical that you can do. Improve yourself a little bit every single day. It's amazing how much those small victories can mean to you, and you're getting healthier. And I always realize in retrospect how amazing that is after you've trained. That feeling, the endorphins, awesome stuff, man. So
It
hopefully-
works. We'll see you after this while you figure out what you're going to be doing for workouts.
Boom boy.
Discover the new language of travel. Marriott Bonvoy. 30 hotel brands, endless experiences, rewards reimagined.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You're live with Expresso. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's been such an informative show, a real growth path today. And we've all been there, I think. We decide that we need to start saving. And for the first few months, we make some sacrifices and save what we can. But then the car and the stove pack in, the kids need to go on a school trip. And just like that, our savings are depleted. Despite our best efforts, South Africans still have a very weak savings culture. And reports showing that only 3% of the population have a savings account in 2018. That's crazy. This morning, I'm joined by Sisandile Kido from Nedbank, who is here to unpack the psychology of saving and how we can all be better savers. So we're going to save the world,
Right.
is what we're going to do, Sisa. This is an incredibly shocking number, 3% of South Africans. Why is the South African savings landscape so dire?
So firstly, good morning.
Thank
and good
you.
morning to the viewers. I think we need to also understand that South Africans don't necessarily always save in formal kind of savings vehicles, like savings accounts, right? South Africans have stock files, for instance. South Africans sometimes put money under the mattress, and that's how they save. Or they save by lending the money out to family or someone in the neighborhood, and that's the kind of savings. So that's the dealing with the 3%. However, we've seen a negative GDP growth, obviously, of 3.2%. Our economy has literally shrunk.
It needs the money.
Right? So you actually need to have the money to be able to save. But also, I think more than that, we need the behavior, the psychology behind the saving to say, I will save before anything. Before I start spending, I decide to save. And some people say, take 10% and make sure you save. But I mean, not everybody has the 10%. So the idea is take what you can and start the saving pattern so that it's inculcated in your behavior, no matter how much you earn.
It's a habit. You want it to become a habit, not a bad habit, but a habit, a habitual part of our lives where we think about it in the right way. How do we start the right habit? How do we get that ball rolling?
So Graham, I think it's important as individuals to sit with yourself and say, what are my goals, right? Most people I know want to be in a better position in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, in the next 12 months. You might want to travel, you might want to buy a house, you might want to renovate your house.
Kids.
You've got kids.
That just opens up a
You know what I
plethora.
mean? So I think it's important to firstly define what it is that your short-term goals are, your medium-term goals are, and then your long-term goals are. Because you also can't do everything at once. And it's important to not try and do everything at once because it becomes very overwhelming.
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier that the stove packs up, the fridge packs up.
Life happens, basically.
Life happens. It's important to have that little piggy bank that you can't touch. Something like a 32-day notice account, for instance. Something that you can't touch easily, but it's also accessible. And you actually save for that because rainy days do happen. If you're wanting to travel, rather than using your credit card to do that, how about you put money together with whoever you're traveling with
cancel out
or
the debt
yourself? Exactly.
beforehand.
Put it into that 32-day notice account. You know that your money is in there, it's safe, and it's actually growing. You can reinvest your interest, and I mean, your money, you'll never get out less than what you put in. You'll always get out something more.
And it is completely safe there.
Correct.
Life doesn't happen to
It's
banks.
even safe from you.
Yeah, no, completely. And that's, I mean, you've hit the nail on the head there, from you, us. That's a very personal space. It is our psychology, the relationship we share with money that
100%.
These habits kind of stem from. So how do we begin to change the way we perceive money, our relationship with money? Where does that start?
So I got a question the other day, and someone said to me, how was your relationship with money 10 years ago? And I said, extremely abusive. I did not respect money, and it's important to understand that if you don't respect money, money will not respect you. Okay, so it's important to honor what you earn. And I know it's such a big word, but
You've
honor
worked
what you
hard for
earn,
it as well.
right? As much as you want to spoil yourself, as much as you want to buy those new shoes, a friend called me the other day and said, there's a sale, a shoe sale. I'm like, I'm not coming.
Yeah.
Because I know I need to save for a holiday. I know that I'm going on holiday and I need to put that money away. So I think the most important thing is to sit down with yourself, understand what it is that you're trying to achieve financially. And the minute you identify that you've got less at the end of the month than what you should, and you're not making it to the end of the month, there are certain things that you need to look at in your behavior that is probably impacting that.
Well, it's a chicken and egg thing, and I think often we only recognize these in retrospect,
100%.
unfortunately, when it's too late. So what are some of those warning signs? Because maybe a good way to start is just to cut that short circuit the way that pattern is playing out, and a red flag is often the best way to do that. What are some of those warning signs that your relationship with money, I mean, you've mentioned one already now, like, you know, instant gratification because you've earned it. I earned my salary, I want to reward myself with a brand new pair of shoes. How do we, what are some of those warning signs that, okay, this is where I need to put my foot down and make
I think it's very difficult for our generation, Graham, because we are out here living our best life. That's that's the theme, right? Go to pop champagne. But the minute you're now tapping into personally your credit card to pop that champagne, that's a warning sign. You should probably take out money, because you do need to entertain yourself with your money, right?
But life needs to be enjoyed.
Right?
To, you know.
But allocate money and possibly move it into another account or a pocket of your transactional account to say, okay, this is for my entertainment and I can access it.
I like the fact that with my accounts in Nedbank, I can split my pockets
Right?
and have a very
Exactly.
clear idea of what money is for what and where it's going.
And that's your entertainment. And then just as much as you're doing that, take some money and say, you know what, this is for my future. And the red flags are when you're just constantly on this high, the spending roll, and it needs one to take a step back and say, you know what, instead of spending 1,000 Rand on dinner, maybe I'll spend 300 Rand or 500 Rand and take 500 Rand and put it towards future dinners, because 500 Rand is not going to be worth 500 Rand the next 10 years.
A dinner in Croatia, perhaps.
Right.
You know, and just bear in mind that those bottles that are popping in music videos, the person singing did not buy them. Okay?
100%.
They're not their personal bottles.
Correct.
So it's about picking the right account for your lifestyle, for your kind of financial standing. And there are so many vehicles out there, but ultimately we just need a safe place for our money. How do you go about choosing the right account for you, and what are some of those savings accounts available, or the vehicles?
So I think the internet has given us great opportunity to kind of go out and search for things, right?
Yeah.
But I'm going to speak particularly to two vehicles that Nedbank offers. For instance, a 12-month fixed deposit where you know you're not going to need this money. And in savings month, you're saying, do you have 1,000 Rand to put away for 12 months?
Yeah.
And back to the psychology of savings is, what are you saying to your mind, I'm not going to touch this for 12 months? And that's one.
And I'm telling you, if you do that for 3 or 4 months, you will forget about the amount. It'll become so natural to do that it'll be, okay,
right?
Paying myself, 1,000, da-da-da.
Right,
you know?
and you've got an electronic 32-day notice account where you can open it with as little as 250 Rand. You take 250 Rand and you keep putting 250 Rand and then 100 Rand and then 100 Rand, and you just forget about it. I always make the analogy that when you're trying to have a child and you're told you're pregnant, you're not going to have a child the following day. There's things that prepare you as the child grows, as you're growing a human, right? There are things that you can't do. There's things that's uncomfortable. So you need to understand that as you're growing your life and you're growing your financial security, there's things you can't do. There's things that are going to be uncomfortable. But at the end, what you're going to get is a beautiful life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know as we drift into the investment space as well, this will help you learn and practice, get the kind of money that you can invest at a later stage. So it can be the first step towards that. It's just all about respecting. I love the fact that you're treating your money as an individual, your earnings as an individual that you need to build and grow a relationship with. Absolute 100%. Magic. Thank you so much, Han. I feel better already. We can all be successful savers with a little bit
and
of
it's never
planning.
too late.
It is never too late. Do it right now, today. A change in attitude and the right savings account. We all have the ability to save and the tools available to do that. Nedbank has made it pretty easy to invest in our goals with both the Nedbank 32-day and 12-month fixed deposit accounts, charging no monthly fees. That's a big one. Just
And
take
it can
a look
all
at the
be
fees
done
on debt.
app.
Take a look at the fees on debt, just to make it all happen. And the app is amazing. So go and check that out. Visit the Nedbank website at nedbank.co.za to get all of that information. Cisa, you're a legend. Thank you so much. I love you, money. I love you, my money.
Interesting conversation on the psychology
I
of
love you,
money.
my money.
Don't we all love money? We do love money, don't we?
But it doesn't love me. As soon as I get it, it wants to go. I'm like, come back.
You need to go into one of those shows, those Bring Love Bag.
What's this?
Anyway, we were talking
Do
about.
you save for your holidays?
I don't save for my holidays, but because I'm constantly saving naturally.
Already as it is.
It's like funds are more often than not always there to travel should I want to. Because I think I'm quite a thrifty spender. There are a few things that I spend on. Like, and
Such as
things
what?
afterwards. Like, you know, yes, I love shoes. But in general, I'm actually quite cool with just like having my money
away.
in the bank, doing its thing in investments, just doing its thing. I don't want to see you.
You recently went away on holiday. Had you saved for it?
I actually didn't save for it. It literally just jumped at me. I was just going through, you know, the internet one day. I saw a package.
Hi.
It was like, hi. I saw a package and I was like, ooh, I want to do that. And then I got to go. So I feel like if I did save for it, I'd end up using the money for something else.
See, that's why you need to lock it away, like in a 12-month account where you can't access it.
But now then that deal comes, hey, and then you're like, oh, 12 months.
But then you still have funds in your bank account once to just get the, like if it's just the ticket, you get the ticket, but then the 12 months is building up.
But also the problem with going based on just like a deal that you're seeing and you hadn't saved for and you just spend on it is when you come back, you've spent all that money and you've got nothing left. So as if you saved, you know that this will be for the holiday, this will sustain me for when I come back.
But there's also just like living life. Just...
Cadbury Dairy Milk shines a light on the generosity alive in each of us. Bring your old toys to any of the Cadbury Dairy Milk's pop-up Little Generosity shops in major centres this winter and receive a slab of Cadbury Dairy Milk chocolate. Get to Durban's Gateway Mall Little Generosity shop from the 25th of June until the 8th of July with your toys, and let's inspire a little more Cadbury Dairy Milk goodness in the world.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Book flights from 499 Rand, only on travelstar.co.za.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's Expresso right here on SABC3. Now, planning a holiday for the whole can be quite a mammoth task, as we just talked about. You need to find a place that is both child-friendly, but also offers activities that will keep Granny and Grandpa entertained as well. With so many things to consider when organizing a multi-generational holiday, we have invited the experts in the industry. Janice Temmers from Travel Start is here to share her tips. Janice, hello, darling.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
I love this because for me, having a little one in the family, it's all about multi-generational. You've got to kind of, especially if we're going abroad, you know, you've got to be cost effective. You've got to try and squeeze as much fun activity and also kind of care for everyone in that space, because everyone deserves that to enjoy that holiday, but it is challenging. What are some of the big challenges when it comes to planning a multi-generational holiday?
Oh, choosing a destination for everyone. So often people come, I want to go away, where do I go to? And then we'd be like, what would you like to experience? Ooh, I don't know. Next question, what's your budget? Ooh, I don't know. And you know, and you need to find something, exactly what you're saying, that caters for everyone, from baby to granny. So, you know, think of a destination that offers nanny services, kids club, teens club, and something for the parents and grandparents to do. So bowls, golfing, you know, you want to have that proper relaxation.
Yes.
Wine farms.
Wine farms.
So let's look at some of the destinations that cater from everything ranging from baby all the way to granny.
My absolute favorite is always Mauritius. It's the number one family holiday destination.
And it's so hot right now. Hey, Mauritius is
all year
bubbling.
round,
Yeah.
all year round. And, you know, they do have nanny services at most resorts. So, you know, that's something that you need to inquire about if it's something that you want. Kids Club is really big for Mauritius. They even have Teens Club. And water activities for everyone. Who goes to Mauritius and don't go snorkeling or do a glass bottom boat?
Oh, I did that.
Right?
So gorgeous.
And then there's golfing. So, you know, whether it's a 9-hole or an 18-hole, I'm not a golfer, but, you know, I need to know these sort of things. And bowls. And then, of course, spas. I'm sure grandma also wants to have, you know, go for a massage and relaxation.
Pedicures, manicures for granny.
And let's not forget about the cocktails, because you can go all-inclusive in Mauritius.
Yes.
So pay everything, you know, in advance, get there, not having to worry about anything else. Value for money. And then what about cruising? Sorry, Graham, I have to talk about cruising.
Yes, absolutely. That is for everyone, I
It's
feel.
for everyone, and it's so up and coming for the South African
it's
market.
changed, hey? Because, I mean, cruising always used to be associated with possibly the older generation. I mean, you were living your best life. As you know, that cruise just looked amazing. You had fun. You were introduced to so many other destinations through that process as well.
Exactly.
It's no longer just for the masters in the class, the mature.
And you've been with NCL. NCL offers something for solo travelers. They even have the solo clubs. I love traveling solo. We were chatting about this earlier. And it's literally a resort on water. So they're competing. So cruising is competing with the Indian Ocean. You get the all-inclusive. You can go for the drinks package. You, like you said, you see so many different destinations, but here's the great thing. You only unpack once.
Yes.
And there's something for everyone. There are circus on board. There are arcades to keep the kids entertained. There's casino for granny.
Amazing.
You know?
Yeah, it's really, really amazing. There's so much to do. The kids have their stuff. The parents can enjoy their stuff. And then at night, dinner time, you just all meet up together.
It can be family again.
Wonderful,
Exactly.
So maybe we can kind of round it all into like your top tips for people looking to plan the ultimate multi-generational family holiday.
So I find that challenges sometimes coming with dates. So people often don't know, like, you know, Leanne and Graham is traveling, but Leanne doesn't know, you know, when is the earliest Graham can leave or when you need to be back by. So plan around dates, and it really helps to be flexible. So, you know, when your travel agent asks you, are you flexible with dates? They're really trying to save you money. So maybe you like, you know, I really want to go on that cruise on the 18th of September, but actually if you go on the cruise before or after, there are, you know, cheaper cabins available. So that helps to get everyone's dates ready. Know the rooming configuration and knowing when you need to be back by. And very, very important, you need to know your budget. And, you know, disclose that with your agent. So what can we offer you? What can we include or exclude? Or how can we make your travel dream come true?
Oh, I love it. Listen, travel is amazing, but it does help to know what you want to do and all the logistics around it before you actually jump into it.
Know what you want to experience. Do you want to have beach or bush?
And there's always one family member who's like that, you know, who's a master, is detail-orientated, who can take the reins of something like that and then speak to someone at Travel Start to help you kind of get inspired. It's not just about getting the job done, it's about enjoying and being inspired about the place that you're going. Absolutely love that.
Exactly. Well, it's just another amazing way to enjoy hassle-free, budget-friendly holidays with travelstart.co.za.
Book flights from 499 Rand, only on travelstart.co.za.
Well, it's been exciting times for the Expresso family. Very recently, Tubbsy got the chance to visit a tropical paradise in the Indian Ocean. Of course, Mauritius, one of the world's most sought-after getaways, and courtesy of Club Med, he had the chance to explore some of the resorts on the island.
I did. What a time, Kat. When I tell you that La Pointe aux Canoniers is the go-to, the flagship for all Club Med's resorts when it comes to catering for the whole family. And this ties in very nicely with that whole generational travel that we were just talking about, that Graham and Leanne were chatting about now. The perfect place. And I can tell you now, when I say that I came back with more than just memories, it's an offer, not a challenge.
More than just memories,
you say? Yeah, more.
Oh, wow.
Way more. La Pointe à Canonier is a flagship Club Med resort, and you can tell as you walk in, it's all about the family. Amazing dancers doing entertainment, the music is going, they give you a nice welcome drink. I'm walking into these open spaces. The reception area is open, leads straight to the pool, and you can tell you've just stepped into paradise. There's something for everyone, from the little baby all the way up to grandma. Club Med has considered all their guests when designing this incredible resort. And when it comes to kids, they have specific areas that are dedicated to children of all ages. Club Med has thought about everything. They cater to everyone, really. I mean, from the young children all the way to the adults. When it comes to children, they really do go all out to make sure that the kids feel really safe. We went into a beautiful safe zone for children where the GOs look after them while the parents go and explore the resort on their own. In this area, there's so much for the children to do, from running around, playing some educational games. I step in here and I already feel like a kid again. Here I am, walking around the resort, minding my own business, and who do I bump into? It's celebrity chef Siba. Hello.
How are you?
So good. It's been so good seeing you with your kids running around all over the place.
They are loving this place.
Yeah.
They really are.
I've seen you have so much fun, just like I have. But what has stood out for you in terms of what Club Med has to offer?
See, what's nice about this place specifically is that they've got so much to do for the little people. And they even take my little one, who's only 10 months.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, from 6 months until 23 months, and then bigger kids. But beyond that, it's just a gorgeous resort. I mean, they have activities for kids for days, which allows me a little bit of romance time with my husband.
I'm going to let you in on a secret. One thing about me is I don't know how to swim. So you can already imagine I'm not super comfortable in water. But I thought this time around I'm going to push the boundaries. I'm going to put myself right into the deep end. And if I have to swim, well, I have a life jacket on. That should keep me okay and afloat. I hope that doesn't happen. Will, you've got to guarantee me that this is going to keep me afloat.
I hope it does.
No matter what.
Sure it will. You ready to go sailing?
Let me go sail.
Right.
See you later.
No
Thanks,
worries.
man. I'm getting into the water with my GO, who tells me the different steps that are involved in the sailing process. He teaches me what needs to be done in order to control and adjust the sails as we go along. The water is incredibly warm. It's beautiful. I can't think of a better thing to do. I'm glad I conquered one of my biggest fears, being in the sea and being in water. But I think this has been such an amazing experience, and it's the perfect thing for anyone looking for that adventure. I've gotten up to so much on this island here, and my body's starting to feel like it's taken a bit of strain. I want to relax, unwind, and get a treatment done at the Saint-Mont Spa, which is absolutely beautiful. La Pointe à Canonier boasts an incredible wellness center run by one of Paris' most renowned centers. It's called Saint-Mont, and I hear they give the best treatments. My body needs a bit of release of tension, and I'm here to get that treatment done. I am choosing to do the traditional Swedish massage. It's perfect for all those tense muscles. I've chosen to take in all the tranquility and beauty of this island, but this resort as well as the spa itself. Cameras away. I've just had the most relaxing treatment, and now I'm ready to explore some more of the resort. So I decide I'm taking a walk along the beach line. It is beautiful. I've moved from the hustle and bustle of the rest of the area where everybody's having lots of fun into an area where I can meditate, zen, zone into my meditation and take it all in. The fact that this island is able to deliver a unique experience at every corner and every turn that you make is just so mind-blowing. I mean, you're able to move from one point, which is all the upbeat excitement and energy there, into a place of tranquility like what I'm doing right now, where you can read a book, take a stroll along the shoreline, or do whatever you want to do. What an incredible experience I've had here at Club Med La Pointe à Canonier. There is something for everyone, which means you can do as little or as much as you want. And the best part of it, it is all inclusive. Well, guys, are you jealous or are you
Super jealous.
Are you jealous?
Yeah, you look like you were having fun in those pink shorts.
I really was. I really
The way your calves and thighs popped as you were walking across the beach. It was lovely, man.
Okay. Well, what do you think of the resort?
It looked amazing, and I love the fact that it just had so much to
jealous.
offer.
Yes,
You'd never wake up in the morning and think, what am I going to do today? It's like, what do I want to do today? There's so much to choose from.
I was there as well.
Yeah.
Snorkeling,
Yes.
Water skiing,
Yes, sailing.
Sailing, it was amazing. I loved it.
Is that the same resort where you played golf?
No, it's a different
Oh,
one.
that's
So
a
the
different
first one I
one.
played
Okay.
golf at, and this one was more, just so much more relaxed.
But
the
once
really
again, the
nice thing,
off-road
yeah,
was golf
it's just so
stressful.
broad. But guys, I have to tell you, families when they travel, and for a lot of parents, I think they stress about what their kids are going to be doing, and if they will actually even have their downtime by themselves.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But the Club Med resorts, they've really thought about this.
Yeah.
They've really created spaces where families can drop off children.
Yeah.
Children
Yeah.
cannot feel like they're being dropped and dumped at a place,
Yeah.
and you still have downtime.
There's
Let me tell
actually-
you, your children want nothing to do with you at a resort
Yeah.
like this. They're like, you do you, boo.
There's actually one. I was
go
trying
play.
to plan a family trip to a ski resort, one of the Club Meds in Europe that has a nanny services, but from like as young as 4 months old they had there. And I was like, whoa, how ideal would that be? Just
Take
like
me there.
And
have a life. Anyway,
You have to check
still
them
dreaming
out.
of it.
Clubmed.co.za. You don't want to not be part of it.
So do you think you can sing? Do you love performing? Well, here's your chance to do exactly that. Mac is inviting you to enter their This Little Light of Mine competition. And all you got to do is record your own rendition of This Little Light of Mine and WhatsApp it to 083 445 0547. The lucky winner will get a chance to produce their own Mac Shine On music video. So this is your opportunity. What are you waiting for? The competition closes on the 22nd of July, 2019. Get entering. Come on. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back, you beautiful souls. Thank you so much for tuning in. As we almost wrap up the show, time to squeeze in some madness, mayhem, and lots of love. The multiple Tony Award-winning musical production Kinky Boots is currently enjoying its local premiere, featuring an all South African cast, which is absolutely awesome. It's currently playing out at the Fugard Theatre in Cape Town. A story of hope, of friendship, and imagination, inspiration. And it's, we are so lucky to have, and it proves, I think, undoubtedly, that as much as we all think we are different, we are maybe a lot more like each other than we know.
From London to Milan, stilettos are an ism. Be ready, neon light. Give me big red boots in New York, Paris, Hong Kong. Watch out, world, here we
Yeah, they are. Please give a very warm, a huge welcome to cast members from Kinky Boots. It includes an incredible score, as you just heard, from Cindy Lauper, unbelievable, and the unbelievably talented cast of Darren Craig, Daniel Wilson, and Travis Turner. Welcome, guys.
Yeah, guys. Oh man, so much magic just having you guys sitting here across from us. But Darren, you play Charlie Price, the owner of the shoe factory. For those who don't know the basic story of what Kinky Boots is about, can you give us a brief breakdown?
For sure. Well, firstly, thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Kinky Boots is a story about Charlie Price, who reluctantly inherits his father's factory, which is a shoe factory that's been run for 4 generations by his family. And it's financially going through some trouble. And he comes across this Lola character, this drag queen, that's just sensational and brings him to this reality that with this friendship, things could work, things could change, the company starts changing, his mindset starts changing, the factory staff, who are a little bit bigot, become friendly and welcoming to this drag culture, and it saves the factory, it saves everyone in it.
And there are boots. There are plenty of
Lots of boots.
Inspiring boots. But an unbelievable score. So I would imagine you've got to be a triple threat with this one. You've got to be able to sing, you've got to be able to move, you've got to be able to act. Daniel,
absolutely.
you play a young Charlie. First of all, what's it been like? Because you guys must spend a lot of time rehearsing for something that is this many dimensions to a performance. What's it been like being a part of this production?
Well, I was in The Sound of Music, and it was kind of play everybody knows what my character was. And now with this, I need to kind of imagine my own character, and I'm having a lot of fun with that.
That's cool. What is your character like? How would you describe him?
He's kind of like, he's not sure what he wants to do yet, and he's kind of been forced to want to make shoes.
Oh, shame.
That's it. Tough life. He's the little me, exactly.
It's a tough life, eh?
Oh man, Travis, so you play young Lola, and it's the first time we see the character Lola. But how did you work with the team to ensure that you set the right tone, you know, for Lola, for people to enjoy Lola and get into the character of Lola?
Well, since it's the first time being on a professional stage, I've learned new ways of acting and dancing, and my favorite thing to do, which is acting.
Yeah.
And being a character that is comfortable with wearing women's shoes and clothing, it makes me feel like this character, young Lola, is happy and being free from being herself.
Yeah. How many times did you stumble and fall just trying to get into those heels?
Just twice.
Just twice.
You're better than him already, man. You put him on once and he fell all over the place. You can say, her name was Lola. I've got a pup called Lola, so this is just so awesome to me. This is proudly South African. Dude, that's got to make you feel, all of you, incredibly proud to be part of a South African cast like this. It's difficult to summate something that is this explosive and awesome and has the emotion that it has, but why should people come and support you guys?
People should come and watch this show because there's so much passion has gone into it, and we really have worked so extremely hard to give such an authentic Northampton Kinky Boots experience.
Yeah.
We've worked so hard on the accents, the dancing. I mean, Lola and them are just sensational. The voices in the show are just massive, massive. You would not be forgiven for thinking you're in Broadway watching this show, which is what a lot of the audience is saying.
But that's what it's about, man.
Absolutely.
No, you guys should be very proud and feel quite privileged to be a part of something that's Tony Award-winning play. So that's quite a mantle to put on your shoulders. No pressure, guys. No pressure at all.
And we certainly can't wait to check it out. So you at home, don't miss this South African premiere of the hit Tony Award-winning musical. It's Kinky Boots. It's being performed at the Fugard Theatre right here in Cape Town until the 27th of October 2019. And the performances, I mean, you can catch them Tuesdays to Saturdays at 8 p.m. And of course, you can also catch the Saturday performance on Sundays at 3 p.m.
So go and open your minds, and right now, open your mind, brace yourself for something quite special. Tickets are only 180 Rand, but you don't have to pay a cent as we speak right now because you're about to get a very singular performance. Are you ready, guys?
Oh man, listen, I've always wanted to be part of a musical, and so this is a great way to start. Kinky Boots, right? So we've got Lola and her angels, and Lola, the lead character from Kinky Boots, and they're going to be teaching us part of the choreography that you actually do on the show.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so you've decided to keep this at a basic level for us, right? So we can actually...
It has to be basic because, as you can see, we're in 6-inch heels.
My gosh.
So it can't be too complicated.
Yeah, I left mine at home.
It's a pity you don't have yours here
I
today.
left mine at home.
Do you have an extra
I'm so
pen?
sorry. I forgot.
I might do.
All right, so you're going to be taking us step by step through the moves. We're going to learn the choreography, and we're going to do it to real music.
Okay, so I need you to keep a close eye on Order In and Saffron because
Okay, cool.
they are
Okay.
the
Saffron
queen.
is my spirit animal.
Yes,
Order
yes.
In is mine.
Channel Saffron.
And just channel fabulosity and fierceness, right?
Okay.
So we're gonna go step in
Step in.
to a dream where glamour is extreme.
Glamour,
Yes.
extreme.
Welcome to our fantasy.
Fantasy.
We give good epiphany.
Epiphany.
Again, repeat. Step in
start the
to a dream where glamour is extreme. Welcome to our fantasy. We give good epiphany.
Yeah?
Walk,
Okay.
walk, walk, and walk, 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 and this time, walk, turn, 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 walk to the other side. And
You're
group.
so good at
And
this.
group.
Okay. Okay.
I still want to be ready, but I don't know if I really am. Okay,
Let's just go for it. Let's just
All
go
right.
for it.
Shall we try it with music?
Please, can we? All right.
So keep a close eye on Saffron and Order In. Step in to a dream where glamour is extreme. Welcome to our fantasy. We give good again. Step in to a dream where glamour is extreme. Welcome to our fantasy. We give flick, 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 and walk. Other side, walk. This time with a turn, walk. To the left again. And just groove. Yes. Whack, whack, whack. Yes, man. Oh, you've got it, girl.
I love it. Go team.
So you'll replace me in the show, right?
I'm so ready. I'm so ready.
Yeah.
Listen, this is a lot of fun. You must be having a great time while on this show. It is a Tony Award-winning show after all that you get to perform.
Absolutely amazing. What do you think people are going to experience when they go and watch this show?
You know what? Someone described the show as swallowing one great big happy pill.
Oh, wow.
It is just infused with so much fun and passion and heart.
Yeah.
You know,
Excellent.
as you can see, we're so out of breath, and that was just like 5 seconds into the show.
know.
But like, irrespective of how tired you are, I think as an audience member sitting out there, you're going to feed off our energy, and you're just going to get lifted. You know.
Oh,
And
well, we were lifted indeed. It was
to a
absolutely
whole new level.
amazing.
I'm ready for the 6 inches. Come on. We're going to take a quick break, guys.
Spectacular, man. Spectacular. It's impressive. How many weeks have you guys been rehearsing?
6 weeks.
6 weeks. Yeah, 6 weeks is what it takes to get to the end result that you're going to see at the end of today's show. You're going to get to see Lola in all her glory, so stick around for that. But I think we can all give Kat and Leanne a big round of applause.
I mean, Kat was definitely getting in there. So impressive.
Very, very, very,
Love
very
your
cool.
work, Kat.
We love you guys, and you can get a bit more of that sass, a little spiciness after a quick break. And no, Kat has not been drafted into the cast just yet, but he's working.
We might lose Kat to the stage. We might just lose him today. Yeah, he's gone. He's no longer here. Gone, girl. Gone, girl. Oh, yeah, gone.
Big or small, we've got it all. Everyone will find something at the Crazy Store. It's no wonder South Africa considers the Crazy Store the crazy fun place to shop.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. This is your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso on SABC3. Now, the South African premiere of the hit Tony Award-winning musical Kinky Boots is on until the 27th of October 2019 at the Fugard Theatre. For more information, check out the website, thefugard.com. But for a snippet of what you can expect, look no further than your feel-good breakfast show. Here we go. Take it away.
He wasn't the first man to fall for me, and I promise he won't be the last. Leave expectations at the door. Just let your eyes explore my cinematic flair. From my boot to derriere, I got a lacy silken feel with arms as hard as steel. I am freedom, I'm constriction, a potpourri of contradiction. Leave that humdrum pace of glum behind. Once you walk inside these doors, you're mine. Now let me blow your mind and let you down. And bam, here I am. Yes, ma'am, I'm a lover. And that's just sweet. Ooh-wee, that's me, ebony. I'm a lover. Ooh. Step into a dream where glamour is extreme. Welcome to our fantasy. We give good epiphany. So come and take my hand and welcome to the land of love. Oh, love. No need to be embarrassed. I like to be looked at, and you like to look. I know a way to make us both happy. Oh, ooh, yeah. That's in Gerard yourself there. With moves of funny step. I'm Black Jesus, I'm Black Mary, but this Mary's legs are hairy. I'm your cocoa butter bitch, not just cookie cutter kitsch. I provide the unexpected with a prize that's undetected. Let's roll up, lift you to your highest high. Let's explore your flight of fancy tonight. I am gonna treat you right and let you down. And down here I am. Yes, ma'am, I'm a lover. And I can see, ooh-wee, that's me, ebony. I'm a step into a dream where glamour is extreme. Welcome to our fantasy. We give good epiphany. Step into a dream where glamour is extreme. Welcome to our fantasy. We give good epiphany. So come and take my hand and welcome to the land. Oh, 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 love. Say my name. Love. So come and take my hand and welcome to the land of love.
Expresso Morning Show, made with love by Clover.
Nada. Feel Good Production.